This is episode number 269 of the Middle Country Public Library podcast. Hello and welcome. I'm Sal DiVincenzo here with my fabulous colleagues Sarah Fate and Nicole Rambo.
Hello.
Who doesn't like history here?
No, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I liked history in school.
Yeah, history's cool.
Social studies, as it was called. What's it called now? It's not called social studies anymore.
Global studies. Is it global studies?
I don't know.
Yeah. History of the World, part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Anyway, it's time for another episode with Jim Ward. He came down.
I was going to say, if anyone likes history, though.
It's the Jim Ward. It's this week in history. Mm-hmm. It's a big week for him, as you're about to hear, because like some of his favorite things happened this week. So,
which is weird.
Yeah. So we.
I'll say it. Weird.
So we had him come down, and here it is.
Okay.
Well, looky here, sitting in front of me here in the studio. It's Jim Ward. How are you, Jim?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. And you know what? It must be time for
This Week in History.
Oh, so wonderful to have you back, Jimmy. How's it going?
Good. Right, how are you?
Good. So we're doing the week of April 2nd.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So like we did last time, I have no idea what you're going to talk about. So you just go and we will react and see what happens.
All right.
Okay,
Let's go. Let's do it. April 2nd, 1792, Congress established the first U.S. mint at Philadelphia.
Nice.
So that was 1792. April 2nd of 1865, of course, we're going to get into the Civil War now.
Of course.
General Robert E. Lee informed Confederate President Jefferson Davis that he must evacuate the Confederate capital at Richmond, Virginia. And Davis and his cabinet fled by train.
And why were they told they must flee?
Because Petersburg was the siege that was going on at the time, and the Union forces broke through the Confederate lines. So if Petersburg fell, Richmond was going to fall then.
Okay, so they were retreating, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, all right. So they knew it was going to be bad at that point for them.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
And then April 2nd, 1917, Jeanette Rankin, the first woman elected to the U.S. Congress, assumes office.
Very nice.
Yeah. I think we did a History Bites on her, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you did.
Yeah, so check that out on our YouTube page.
Cool.
April 2nd, 2005. I remember when this happened. Pope John Paul II dies.
Oh, my goodness.
So that was, what was that, 18 years ago?
Wow, yeah, 18
that's
years ago.
amazing. I remember that. And then, you watch for the white smoke. Right?
That's right.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It is.
April 3rd, 1860, the Pony Express service began as the first rider departed St. Joseph, Missouri. For $5 an ounce, letters were delivered 2,000 miles to California within 10 days.
Within 10 days.
Within 10 days. And they did it where they rode 75 to 100 miles each, and then they would hand it off to another rider. And then they would hand it off to another rider.
Hence the Express.
The Express. There we go.
And yet, when our internet is down for 30 seconds, we curse and we're upset.
They had a lot more patience.
They had much more patience
than we do.
Yeah. Very nice.
It lasted just over 2 years, ending upon the completion of the Overland Telegraph.
There you go.
So once the telegraph came, there was no reason for...
They were obsolete.
Yep. It's like anything else that came out after that.
And then there was money to be made with the Overland telegraph.
Oh, of course.
Right? I mean, they could charge
lines and lines of that were built.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was so much quicker.
Yep.
You can get the message like that instantaneously.
And they charged didn't they charge per word when they were doing the
Oh, did they?
Telegraphs? Yeah.
Is that how they did it?
I think that's how they did it.
By word?
Yeah. By word, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's why they were so short and sweet.
Back to 1865, April 3rd, that is when Richmond actually surrendered to the Union forces after the withdrawal of General Robert E. Lee's troops.
Okay, so it went back. It went to. I'm sorry, it didn't go back, but it went to northern control at that point. Yeah,
right. And then, which I'll get to in a little bit, but Abraham Lincoln then visited the next day.
Wow.
And was touring the rebel capital, which is amazing when you think about it.
The next day, absolutely.
Yeah, the next day.
Yeah.
April 3rd, 1948, President Harry Truman signed the European Recovery Program, better known as the Marshall Plan.
The Marshall Plan.
The Marshall Plan. Over 4 years, the program distributed $12 billion to the nations of Western Europe, It was first proposed by Secretary of State George C. Marshall during a historic speech at Harvard University on June 5th, 1947.
So $12 billion in 1940s money.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what with inflation today,
Yeah,
what that would
exactly.
be. This one I found very interesting. April 3rd, 1974, 148 tornadoes hit North America from Georgia to Canada within 16 hours.
Oh, my goodness.
I wasn't alive at that time, but that seems
Scary.
an exorbitant amount of tornadoes.
Yes. It's pretty wild.
Wow. And here's an interesting one. April 3rd, 1978, Woody Allen's Annie Hall won the Oscar for Best Picture, beating out George Lucas's Star Wars.
That kind of makes sense. I can understand that. Have you seen Annie Hall?
I think I did a while ago. I don't really remember it, though.
Yeah. Well, a lot of sci-fi movies don't win the Oscars, right?
Right.
I mean,
But
and
it was Star Wars.
Star Wars, yes.
But
But at least
it's
it was
Star Wars.
nominated, right? I mean, it was nominated.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, so
True.
it's a good thing.
April 3rd, 1995, Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor became the first woman to preside over the court, sitting in for Chief Justice William Rehnquist, who was out of town.
There you go. Very good.
1996, April 3rd, Ted Kaczynski is arrested by FBI agents and accused of being the Unabomber.
The Unabomber.
He,
Do you remember that? Looking for him? Were you a little too young?
I was a little too young for
Yeah.
that, but I did watch a documentary on Netflix about it last year, and I was like, wow.
What most young people nowadays say about historical things. Yes. I saw a documentary on Netflix. I remember it when it was in the news, Jim. That's how old I am.
The hunt for 18 years it was. Hunt. That's what it says. 18 years. He was blamed for 16 mail bombs that killed 3 people and injured 23 during that time.
Yep.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
April 3rd, 2010, Apple releases the iPad.
Nice.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Very nice. I can't believe it's only been 13 years, though.
I know. I feel like it's been around forever now.
Exactly, yeah.
But it's
such a normal part of life now.
Everyone's got one
Exactly.
now. I guess I kind of just did this one already, but April 4th, 1865, President Lincoln visited the still smoldering ruins of the South's former capital of Richmond, Virginia.
You have to mention Lincoln multiple times, Jimmy. We know you.
There's one more now, actually.
Oh, here we go.
So April 4th, 1865, this is where Abraham Lincoln dreamt about his own death.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Yeah, he had a dream. He dreams on this night in 1865 of the subdued sobs of mourners and a corpse lying on a catafalque in the White House East Room. In the dream, Lincoln asked the soldier standing guard, "Who is dead in the White House?" To which the soldier replied, "The president. He was killed by an assassin."
Seriously?
So that was 10 days before he was actually shot by John Wilkes Booth.
Now, where was this documented, this that he had this dream?
Well, he told one of his friends, Ward Hill Layman, that it was bothering him. It strangely annoyed him ever since.
Wow.
And then 10 days later, after having the dream, he's shot dead at Ford's Theater.
Amazing.
Isn't that bizarre?
That's crazy.
He foretold his own assassination.
Exactly. And speaking of the assassination of Abraham Lincoln, just this Tuesday, we posted your History Bites on the Lincoln assassination.
That's right.
So
That's right. Check that out.
Put that in the show notes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Very good.
Let's see. April 4th, 1964, the Beatles hold an unprecedented record of 12 positions on Billboard Hot 100 Singles chart.
Amazing.
Isn't that amazing?
Well deserved, though.
Oh, of course.
Love the Beatles.
If it wasn't the Beatles, who would it be?
Exactly.
April 4th, 1968, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was shot and killed by a sniper in Memphis, Tennessee.
That's right.
Yeah, and he's best remembered for his I Have a Dream speech delivered in 1963 on the March on Washington. And then in 1986, Congress established the third Monday of January as a national holiday in his honor.
So I'm sorry, what was 1968 you said?
Yeah, 1968, April 4th.
Wow.
April 4th, 1975, Bill Gates and Paul Allen found Microsoft.
Wow.
Right? Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
I mean, that's over 40 years.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that it was around that long, but it really was.
And now they're in all of our homes in some way, shape,
Some
or
fashion,
form.
yeah. April 6th, 1841, John Tyler is sworn in as president after William Harrison, who was elected in 1840, he died a month into office. He gave a very long inaugural speech and didn't wear his hat. and I think he got like pneumonia or something, and
wow,
he ended up passing away the next month.
Goodness.
Yeah, so that was the first time that a vice president succeeded a president.
Okay, and from now on, what they have to wear the hat.
Wear the hat.
No, I'm just kidding.
Wear the hat. I guess at that time you had to worry about that.
Yeah. I don't think any recent presidents in recent memory have worn a hat for the inauguration.
No. It's probably been about 100 years, I would think. Yeah. April 6th, 1896. After a modest break of 1,500 years, the first Olympics of the modern era was held in Athens, Greece.
Wow.
So that was when the Olympics returned, and
after 1,500 years.
1,500 years.
How terrible. No, really. How I mean, they're the ones who started it all, and then we waited all that long.
Yeah, we had to wait so long. Why couldn't they just do it?
Exactly.
But I guess they needed a little bit of a break. And
just a little bit of a break.
Just a tad.
A little bit. Catch my breath.
Yeah. April 6th, 1917, following a vote by Congress approving a declaration of war, the U.S. entered World War I in Europe.
Okay.
April 7th, 1933, beer goes on sale again in 19 of the 48 states and the District of Columbia, so Prohibition was coming to an end with the repeal of the 18th Amendment and the passage of the 21st Amendment.
Wow, that was this week?
Yep.
All right, cool.
This one I didn't actually know about. April 7th, 1961, President John F. Kennedy sends a letter to Congress in which he recommends the U.S. participate in an international campaign to preserve ancient temples and historic monuments in the Nile Valley of Egypt.
Oh, wow.
I had no clue about that.
I had no clue either.
Never heard of that.
See, we're learning something new today in the podcast.
That's what we do here.
Exactly.
April 8th, 1913, the 17th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution was ratified, requiring direct popular election of U.S. senators rather than how it used to be where the state legislatures used to vote and pick the senators. But now it became direct popular vote.
Interesting.
Yep. April 8th, 1974, Hank Aaron of the Atlanta Braves hits his 715th career home run to break Babe Ruth's record.
Boom.
Isn't that something?
Nice, yeah.
And I love the call on that. The announcer, he does a phenomenal job with it. So that's all I have for this week, but I do...
You do want to go a little farther, don't you?
I do want to just go a day further.
You can go a day further, Jimmy. Go ahead.
April 9th, 1865.
Yes.
After over 600,000 American deaths, the Civil War effectively ended as General Robert E. Lee surrendered to General Ulysses S. Grant in the village of Appomattox Courthouse, Virginia.
There it is.
And there it is.
There it is.
The war is over.
The end of the war. And the end of Jimmy's favorite war. It has ended on April 9th. Also, didn't Baghdad fall on April 9th?
Yes.
Baghdad fell on April 9th, yeah.
That's right, on your birthday.
On my birthday, April 9th.
April 9th. Happy early birthday.
Also, look, my birthday, also the end of the Civil War. That's why everybody's always happy at my birthday. You get cake, and then you remember, hey, wait a minute.
It forebodes good things.
There you go. Fantastic. Well, it's so much happening this week in history.
Yep.
Jim, and I do appreciate you coming down and letting us know about all this kind of stuff. And you got some great history bites out there on YouTube.
We do.
Yeah, some of them are huge. Some
of
them are
views.
great. A lot of views, 120, 200. And then you have one that has over 80,000 views on the History Bites.
Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing. So we'll put those all in the show notes so people could check them out. You're doing a great job with those.
I'm trying.
And you're going to keep going with them, huh?
Absolutely. We're nearing, I think, 80 episodes soon. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, we've been doing it for 3 years.
And you also have a lot of history programs coming up?
Yes.
Great.
We have, let's see, on May 2nd, we have the history of the Brooklyn Dodgers. On June 6th, I want to say it is. It's a program about the history of Juneteenth. And then June 13th, we have, while it's not strictly just a history program, it's also a paranormal program. It's the Ghosts of Gettysburg.
That's the Ghosts of Gettysburg. Very interesting. Another video of yours on YouTube that does very well is the Ghosts of Antietam.
Ghosts of Antietam, that's right.
So you're having someone come down to talk about the Ghosts of Gettysburg.
Yep.
That's great.
So
now,
it should be a good time.
Is it true there's pictures out there where people take pictures and they see like ghosts in the distance in the fields and such?
They claim it. They claim it.
Not any double exposure, not any photoshopping. It's an actual...
There's some videos where people Like, they could easily edit it. Who
Sure,
knows,
sure.
but it shows like a figure moving across the road or
Spooky stuff.
seeing some sort of silhouette of a person.
Yeah.
It is a little creepy. I've been to Gettysburg, as you know.
Yes, I know. Many times you've been.
Many times. And there have been a few weird things that happened
That's
there.
happened to you?
I'm just
Yeah.
saying, just a little bit of weird stuff that happened.
Yeah. Like you had a $20 bill in your pocket and you take it out at the end of the day. You're like, wait, my $20 bill's gone? No. All right.
They pickpocketed.
Well, thank you so much for coming down for another
Absolutely.
episode, Jimmy. Appreciate it.
Sure. Thank you.
And wasn't that weird, folks? Just strange.
But his history bites on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, they get huge views for us. I mean, he's getting like 120, 150,
People
200.
love history.
People do
Hence,
love
they have
history.
a whole channel dedicated to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, we look at the analytics and a lot of people are coming from other places to see it. So
Good for him.
it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, good for history, I should say.
Good for history, good for us, because it's on our YouTube channel.
Yes.
So if you are watching, and listening on YouTube, then definitely hit the like button. I'm having a problem today. Hit the like button, hit subscribe. We'd love to get to 2,000 subscribers by the end of this year.
Whoa,
So
come
here we
on
go.
now.
We could do it.
You think
we could
so?
do it. It's
I wonder if
exponential.
it's like an exponential thing. Like once you hit 1,000, it's
Yeah,
easier to get
people
to
just-
2,000,
exactly.
and then like it goes by quicker.
That's what it is.
Is
Yeah.
it- yeah,
That's what it's going to
we'll
be.
find out.
We'll see. We'll see.
I hope so.
I hope so too. So thank you so much for listening. For Sarah Fade and Nicole Rambo, I'm Sal DiVincenzo. We'll see you on the next show.